Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name's Jim. So this is the second video in the new house build series. We've already built the workshop and so now it's time to do the house. Yes, I built the workshop before the house, of course. And so this is the second video in that series. So we're gonna be moving a lot of dirt in this one, lots of drone footage, lots of time lapse, and we're gonna get the garage backfilled and ready for the slab. And they're also gonna pour the slab in this video as well for inside the basement. So without further ado, this is the second video in the new house build series. Enjoy. Starting off here, I'm just gonna do a little bit of narration so that people know what's going on. Our piles have shrunk. If you missed the first video, I would strongly recommend watching the first video before watching this, so you have an idea what's going on here. And right now they've got a load of crushed stone in, and they're putting that around the foundation. And so of course the excavator needed a path all the way around. It's just far easier and faster to use the excavator to do this. And so they put a bed of crushed stone down, and you can see the white pipes right there. And once the bed of crushed stone goes down, then the pipes will go on top of that. And then, of course, they will bury the pipes with more crushed stone. And then when that's done, then, of course, this will need an inspection. So anyway, that kind of gives you an idea what's going on here. I know that if you've just kind of clicked on this video, I do recommend watching the first one before this. The other thing that has changed is you no longer put drain tile all the way around the foundation. In the past, that's what we used to do. Now, this time around, it's actually going to be going on the right side is where the garage is, and on the left is where the house is. And there's drain tile on the inside of the garage at the bottom that links the front to the back to the house. So there's drain tile inside there too. Again, I'll show that here in a minute. Love these time lapses. So they're still here working, but I'm going to give you a little update here before I leave the shop. I got to go home and do some editing. But yeah, big difference. Really starting to cut down that hill over there. We'll take a walk over there and I'll show you what's going on. But the drain tile, we're waiting on a drain tile inspection right now. Since this is basically a frost wall and is buried, there's no need for drain tile around it. But on the inside of that wall, hopefully you guys were able to see that. Anyway, there's drain tile. I might be able to show you when I stand over there and we look this way. But there is drain tile on the inside, and then of course all around the perimeter of the house. I'll take a walk over here. So yeah, there you can see it better. So the inspector is supposed to be here tomorrow to inspect this, and then they can backfill. And of course, hopefully the GoPro is picking that up. I know it's in the shade, but all crushed rock all around it. Looks pretty nice, I must say. And anyway, once we get the inspection done, then this can be all backfilled, probably only about 4 feet tall. They do have the go-ahead to start doing this. They've taken pictures of it and submitted those, so we're not really held up in that regard. But right now we're just trying to really shave down that back hill, and there's a real bony pile of rocks and stuff that they're moving while we have the excavator and the payloader here. The payloader is a lot quicker to move stuff than to say load a truck and then just drive it down and dump it somewhere. So that's why the payloader's here, and it's just quicker. So let me take a walk over here and we'll look at elevations. Still a lot to be cut down just by looking at this. So yeah, again, I don't know how well the GoPro is going to pick that up, but I mean, it is really high up here still. So you know, we got to be about a foot below the window that you see there. Well, where you see that membrane, that's essentially where the dirt level is going to be. And then of course we need a slope away from the house. So this is going to have to go down quite a bit more. Basically what they've done here is stripped off the topsoil, and they're either going to do this with the bulldozer The bulldozer would push this stuff really nice actually. But that payloader might even be able to do that as well. Either way, it's going to be removed. It's got to be removed. And yeah, there's just a mountain of material here to backfill. That's another topsoil pile. That's a topsoil pile. And we're going to be using some of this sand over in a low spot on the other side of the workshop. Those that follow the channel, I think that I probably posted that, but we had quite a lake sitting there in front of the workshop last year, so we're going to fill that in so that that water runs and it doesn't just sit there. But yeah, that's it. We're held up. We're waiting for the inspection for the drain tile. I should mention that the drain tile is going to go out that corner in this direction on an angle into the tree line. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to do that. But again, we've got to dig this down, and they can't really do the septic system until all this rough grading is done as well. You can even tell, maybe you can tell, it's high at the back of the house too. So there's still lots of material to be moved here. It's painful. It's painful, but I don't think that we really have any other option but to do it this way. And in the end, it's going to be, you know, we're going to spend some money doing it, but it's going to be actually a really, really nice view down to the tree line. And of course, when the leaves are off the trees, we'll have a better view of the swamp that's back there, the lake. But anyway, I just wanted to bring you up to date. The other thing too, I'll show you this. I didn't even know this was a thing, but all those metal pieces, they've put fiberglass on all of those. I don't get it. This is going to be, basically, you can see where the cutout is for the garage door. Well, that slab is going to come 4 inches over the top of that. Well, in behind that, it's going to be packed full of soil and packed on the outside. So I don't understand this. But what do I know? It makes no sense to me. I don't get it. And we always used to put drain tile around the entire foundation here, and now all of a sudden they're not doing that anymore. Which again, we're not going to have drainage issues here anyway because this is all sand. But it's just another one of those things that you just, I don't know. Sometimes it just doesn't make any sense to me why they're doing what they're doing. But anyway, I will give you an update here tomorrow. I'm hoping that by the end of the day tomorrow, the vast majority of that will be cut down, and a lot of that will be gone as well. I did set the camera up on top of this now gigantic pile of topsoil. It's not very good topsoil, but it's topsoil, and probably about the best that you're going to get in this area. Yeah, it's got some big rocks in it. There's some sod in there, but anyway, at least it's got some loomy material in it, and we might be able to grow something here. All right, talk to you tomorrow. So now it's time to backfill the garage, and yes, that whole the whole thing is going to be backfilled inside and out. So the excavator is basically working blind. He needs eyes down inside, so you'll see that's Adam down on the hole. He'll back up and kind of give him directions because Derek that's on the excavator, well, he can't see anything. So he's just relying on Adam to try and lay it in there as evenly as you can, because I mean you can appreciate when you're dumping in, you know, these full buckets of material. Well, it's not any fun to have to spread that all by hand evenly before you start to compact it. So, you know, 6 inches to a foot of material, I believe, is going in. And then once I get a bed in, you'll see them fire up the compactor and run the compactor over top of it. But, you know, it's not so bad once the inside of the foundation is filled up where, you know, the excavator can see what's going on. But until then, it's pretty much doing this blind. So apparently, a big problem when you're doing this kind of work is if the material you're working with is too wet, it will stick to the bottom of the compactor and, you know, cause you all kinds of grief. So I would have liked to seen this maybe a little wetter when it was going in, but we don't have any water on site to even hose any of this down if we wanted to. Um, yeah, I mean, you can see him giving indications to where to drop it. And yeah, you know, by the time that gets compacted, it's probably only 6 inches of material, really. But I think the key to it is really kind of leveling it off and make sure that it's all kind of the same height. And then you'll see it in next clips where, you know, it's just being built up in steps. And that's really the only way you can do it till you get all the way to the top. All right, so the crew just left. It's late Friday, so this is what they got done. I know from the drone footage it may be a little hard to see, but yeah, it's taken a long time to do this. They did do the inspection for the drain tile. We're all good to go there, so that's why they're starting to backfill here too. They did, before starting this, they did actually do some more work down over the hill, but I wasn't here in the morning. But you haven't done much for filling in back here. Again, our grade, the bulldozer, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, I'll mention it again. The bulldozer is supposed to be here next week, and then hopefully they'll be shaving all of that down there. And while the excavator is on site, if there's an issue, there's some bony material down over there that may have to use the excavator for. So they want to make sure that the excavator here is on site when they have the bulldozer here, in case they encounter issues. Well, yeah, that's it. I mean, I asked them the time frame, how long do they think it's going to take to basically compact this. 2 to 3 days is what they anticipate on backfilling this. So it's going to take a minute for that to happen. But anyway, that's your update. They'll be back on Monday. I'll get some more footage. Problem is, I really want to set up a time-lapse camera. Do I put it up on the peak there? That way at least I've got a decent view down in here, but I can't really, as you can see, like if I set up my time-lapse camera on these hills, first of all, he's going to need this material to backfill, so I can't really do that. Same thing over there. If I set up a camera over there, you're not really going to see anything. So yeah, might be time to get the ladder out, and I'll put it on the peak of the roof on Monday. Weather permitting, and if it's not super windy, because I don't want my GoPro to go fall off of there, because it probably won't do it any good. But anyway, talk to you Monday. Have a good weekend. So I didn't bother filming any more of the backfilling of the garage because, well, I mean, it's just kind of the same thing over and over and over. So, and like I said, I just didn't really have a good place to put the camera, so I decided against it. So this is inside of the house, of course, and they want to bring the level up just a little bit, so they're putting some gravel in, they're compacting that, and then of course the crushed rock is going in on top of that. And you know, you try to limit how much of this stuff you buy because it's very expensive. And the other thing too is you got to try and keep it clean and keep the fines out of it. You want the water to flow through it nicely, and the more you end up getting, say, sand in it and this kind of business, that it's going to plug up the rock that they're using here. And you know, its intended purpose, of course, is to allow water and, of course, radon mitigation to happen as well. So the gravel was compacted first, and then of course this crushed rock or crushed stone was brought in and laid on top of that, and compacted as well. the plumber's been here and all of his lines are now in. So for reference, that is a bathroom over at that end, so that's what all that piping is for. This will be the utility room area. You can see where the well lines are going to come in, and there'll probably be a tank mounted on the wall there. There's a drain in there, probably a vent, and I'm not sure what the other thing is over there. And over in this corner down here, this is going to be kind of our bar rec room type area down in here. You know, we'll put a sink probably on that wall, put some shelves up, you know, typical bar games room type thing. But we are ready for concrete. I do not think that there's anything else left to do. The wire mesh is over there for the floor. You might be able to see it against the shop. This is totally compacted now and ready for concrete, and so is that. You also may notice that there is a deeper channel right along there. I'll try and line my finger up because I don't know if it's standing out very well or not. And essentially that's the dividing wall, or not the dividing wall, it's a support wall in the basement. So they're just going to pour, I think it was an extra 4 or 6 inches of concrete in that area. Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. Like, the bulldozer is here, so that's good. And I suspect that on Monday, all this is going to be knocked down. You can kind of see the grade level there. I think it's still going to come up a little bit higher than that. So all of that material, it's got to be all shaved down. Our topsoil pile has absolutely exploded in size. It's absolutely massive. There's still a little pile over there, and not sure why the sand is there. Maybe they just didn't have time to remove it. But anyway, that's your update. I apologize that I didn't get more footage of the compacting. I mean, it's not really, yeah, I showed a little bit here in the garage and of course with the drone, but really I was kind of handcuffed. And the other thing is I'm also doing another video where I've got a lot of cameras tied up, so I don't have a lot of more cameras to set up. But regardless, I still probably couldn't find a spot for them anyway. But anyway, let me see. Yeah, I think well, hoping concrete Monday or Tuesday, but we'll see. Anyway, I'll let you know. So I got here a little later than I'd hoped to today. Already starting to strip the topsoil off of here. Merlin's son's in the dozer today, and basically what he's doing is bringing material up from back. I'm going to put it in here, and I believe that we're going to fill this all in with gravel. So that'll be really nice to get this graded nicely, bring this up a little bit. I put that in with the tractor, but yeah, we definitely need to bring this grade up here, slope it away from the building, and get some nice gravel out here so we're not driving through some thorn bushes. Besides blueberries, there's lots of thorn bushes out here, so I really don't like driving through them with the truck. But anyway, I'm going to set up a time-lapse camera, and we'll see what's happening here. Probably throw the drone up too. So if this is the first time you're watching this content, in the workshop build series, I pretty much explained to people that, you know, we have 17 acres here, and we're fortunate enough that a lot of those acres are gravel. So we don't have to have any of it trucked in to site here because it's all available. And it's a good thing because we're gonna end up using a lot of gravel. Luckily that strip that where he is, that's got to be all cut down still. So, and that's all good gravel too. So it's I think they call it pit run maybe. And we're fortunate to have it, because if we didn't, oh man, it would be so expensive to have that all trucked in. But again, just trying to shave down that back hill, and instead of pushing it down towards those piles in the back, it actually is being pushed up and then in front of the workshop and the future driveway when it goes out. That will be in the next video. This needed to get done eventually. My intention was to use, well, I am still going to use my 20-foot sea container as a storage shed. But you're looking at the end of my workshop facing the house, and there's going to be a carport on the end. And my original intention was to take that sea container and tuck it in underneath the end of the carport, and then there'd be, say 20 feet of sea container sticking out. After talking to the wife, I think that we're not going to do that anymore. I'm going to put it lengthwise along the back of the shop. So when I open up the back door, it's essentially going to be right there. The opening will be there, and that way I've got power for lights, and I'm going to put a fan in it as well. So he's just putting in a flat pad so that we can drag the sea container over and place it on it. So I didn't get a chance to film any of this, but I was editing for my regular content, and they were down, put the vapor barrier inside of the foundation, and well, with the basement, and I believe that pipe is probably radon mitigation, if I'm not mistaken. And of course the wire mesh is in the garage. Usually these are about a 4-inch pour, most residential pours. It can be up to 6 inches, but in this case I don't see any point in going any thicker than 4 inches. It's just not required. You can see the boards are all in there now, so they are ready to pour, and that is happening actually tomorrow. I got the word today, so they'll be here first thing in the morning to pour, and I'll be here to film all of that, and that'll probably be the end of this video. Let's hope that everything goes right. Mother Nature cooperates with us this time around, unlike when we did the workshop, if you watch that series. So it's not supposed to be any weather, and hopefully everything will go smooth. So we'll see you tomorrow morning. So it's finally pour day, and this is a real welcome sight. It's funny, I can't believe but I got up at 7, and it was barely getting light, and I'm like, okay, well, I got a bit of time to get down there, and by the time I get down there, they had a third of it poured. Of course, it takes a little bit of time to get the drone ready and throw it up in the air, and I've only got about maybe 17 minutes worth of flying time, and then I've got to change the battery. So you might see some broken footage here where they poured more before I could get the drone up again. Uh, it's funny because we hadn't had any rain in weeks, and there was no forecast. There was no rain in the forecast. So, you look at the long range forecast. Yep, good. That's a great pour day. They start pouring the concrete, and I think that as soon as they got close to being done, didn't it rain? And if you remember back to the workshop build series, that we ended up having some weather come in on us, and it really affected the slab and how it was polished. So I just looked at my builder and said, "You got to be kidding me." He goes, "Yeah, I know." And talking talking to one of the guys, he goes, "Every time we come here to do a slab," he says, "I think this place is cursed. We never seem to have any issues pouring slabs, but every time we come here, there's an issue pouring a slab." But it was fine because it rained like less than a millimeter, and we're earlier in the year than we were for the workshop. So it didn't take long for that any water that did land on it for it to burn off, and they were able to polish the floor out nicely. But I was just like, "You've got to be kidding me! Is it raining again when it wasn't even forecasted?" But anyway, in the end, it all worked out. One of the big holdups here, as far as doing the house is concerned, that long footing that goes the length of the house, well, that the support wall is going to be sitting on that. So of course you can't put the floor on until that is done. So now that that is done, then of course my builder can go on this full bore and get it done. But anyway, they did a fantastic job, and I'm so happy that this slab is now in, and it's not holding up the build anymore. So that's awesome. But anyway, I'm gonna put a little bit of music up here, and I'll talk to you at the end. For those who haven't seen this process before, this is called power trawling, and it's essentially, I'll call it a buffer, a very large buffer that you would use for floors, but it's got these paddles on it that you can change the angle on, and that's how you polish the floor, for those who haven't seen it before. You can typically, from what my understanding was, get on this about an hour after it's been poured, but if it's all kind of weather dependent, the longer, if the sun gets on it, it's going to dry a lot faster. So then, yeah, it's something you have to really watch. Another interesting thing, I was talking, being the nosy homeowner, I was talking to the guy that was running the pumper truck, I think it was, and about the concrete in the trucks itself and the worry about it setting up. And he said, well, as long as it's spinning, the concrete isn't going to set up. So that the difference is, the longer the concrete sits in the truck, the faster it's going to cure once it's poured. So if you've got a load that's been sitting in a truck for a long time, once it's poured, you got to really get on it and work it fast, or else you could get into some pretty big trouble pretty quickly, because it will set up really fast. So again, there was one guy who was going around cleaning up the edges, because of course the power trawl can't get into the corners and right up against the ICF foam. So that's what he's doing. And they just keep going around and around and around, and eventually you won't see any boot marks or anything like that when you know that it's good. That's essentially it. I'm sure there's a lot more to it than that. And anybody that's finishing concrete work that's watching this is probably going, what? No, it's a lot harder than that. But he's spraying stuff on the floor. I'm assuming it's just water. I might be wrong there too. But they just keep going around and around and around, and eventually it hardens up enough where the boot prints don't really get left behind all that much, and they go out the back window. So hopefully you're going to be able to hear me. It's quite noisy out here today and windy. So yeah, they're all done the basement. And I must say, I was down there and looked at it, and it looks fantastic. It really does. No complaints at all. And the great thing about it is, this is not going to hold us up. My builder is going to start building on Monday. And as you can see, there's already a bunch of lumber here. He's still waiting for his floor joist to come in. They're using, I think, an open web type floor joist truss system. So I imagine that must be coming first thing on Monday, if he plans on working on Monday. Maybe they'll put the garage up here. The good thing is, it's not going to hold anybody up here. Now he can get his floor system on, and then once that's done, then we can continue on with the backfilling of the foundation, because there's not much risk of it pushing in after the floor system goes on. So it's important to only fill up part way. And I know that he put a little bit of dirt in there over there, but it's not compacted whatsoever. It's just kind of placed in there and nothing else really. As far as when this is going to be done, I don't know. I know that they probably would like to do this before the structure gets on it, but they're down a guy, and for the most part, that took the majority of the day to get that power trawled and looking the way that it is. So there just wasn't enough time in the day to do this floor too. So that's why it didn't get done, if you're wondering. So, you know, I think I'm going to end the video here. I really would have liked to have seen the garage floor being done in this video, but I just, I don't know when it's going to be. I mean, it could be, they may do it after the house is done. So I can't really hold the video up for that. So anyway, if you enjoyed this content, please leave a like down below. And of course, now that YouTube's got this hype button thing, I don't know, it's always evolving. I've only been really on YouTube here for 5 years. And yeah, it's ever evolving. And now the hype button's there. So if you enjoyed the content, hit that hype button too. I guess that'll help the channel out. Right, I'm gonna leave it there. Next video should be framing. That's another big one. And my builder says anywhere between 2 to 3 weeks with, you know, the sheeting on the roof, not so much having, you know, the roof on, the asphalt roof, but the structure will be up hopefully in 2 or 3 weeks. So I don't know, I'll probably break that into sections because it's going to be quite entailed, but we'll have to see. But anyway, thanks for watching, and if you like this content, please share it with your friends. See you at the next one.